Franklin, what do you want?
I want to marry V. Have this baby. I want the life I was so close to having I could taste it.
It's October 1986 in the sixth and final season. As civil war threatens to destroy the Saint family, Franklin is desperate, forced to rob his Aunt Louie and Uncle Jerome after being wiped out by former CI officer Teddy McDonald. Meanwhile, Louie has taken over Franklin's role as Teddy's sole buyer, undercutting her nephew and creating a competing empire in the process. Franklin is now faced with losing everybody he loves and everything he's built, and coming through it all will mean outmaneuvering the KGB, the DEA, and the CIA, as well as avoiding the LAPD's fully militarized, fully corrupted crash units. When everybody has their backs against the wall, who will they become in order to survive? Franklin Saint is facing more problems and pain than he's ever faced before. He has to come to grips with being back at the bottom. His empire that he's been building, the money that he's made, his assets, and his network is gone. In the blink of an eye, Teddy stripped it away from him. And it was the one thing which gives someone power: money. If you take away someone's money, you hurt them in every single possible way. And so is war. And based on the synopsis along with the official trailer, that's where Franklin Saint finds himself. He's not just at war with Teddy and his family, but he's at war with himself. So when your empire is threatened, the gloves come off. Now, Franklin Saint is a character who has gone through an evolution. When we were introduced to him, he was just a kid, but a young kid who knew the game was rigged, and he knew the only way to beat the system is to play the game. But as time goes on, dreams change and goals change, and now he wants to marry V and have his baby. He wants to live this life that he was so close to having, the life that he could almost touch and taste. At the end of season 5, Teddy ripped it away from him. Oh, and we can definitely hear the pain in Franklin's voice. But despite his empire being taken away, despite his money being taken, and Louie maneuvering herself taking his role under Teddy, Franklin does have a chance to walk away. But when you are this close and for everything to be ripped away by betrayal from those you worked with so closely, it's gonna hurt. And let's not get it twisted, every man has an ego, and Franklin's been hurt. You can see it in his reaction as he throws his hands, you can hear it in his voice, and you can see the pain in his eyes.
I built an empire, starting back at 0. That ain't gonna happen.
But how can Franklin start again? How can someone who's built so much start from 0? It's almost impossible. He's been building this empire for years, with a well-run organization and network, an empire which has required sacrifice along the way, with blood being shed. For example, Kevin. He's also had constant battles with rivals and enemies who have tried to take what's his, like Manboy, Ray Ray, and Scully. Because there will always be enemies who want what's yours. That includes family. Continuing from the end of season 5, we saw Franklin go after Jerome and Louie's stash, where we hear Jerome warning Franklin over the phone. So the stakes are being raised that much more, even when it comes to Franklin's own family. We also see someone shooting up Franklin's apartment, and no doubt he'll have numerous near-death encounters. But there is always a way to stop it all: make peace. We asked Franklin to make peace, and I agree. The trajectory which Franklin has showed at the end of season 5 and in the trailer for season 6, it seems like if he doesn't get his empire and money back, then he's gonna burn everything and everybody around him. He'll take Teddy and everybody down with him if he has to, and the trailer for season 6 definitely shows he's done playing games. We hear Teddy saying Franklin is going to war, and he's trying to bring his whole entire operation crashing down. And if we've learned one thing about the game, everybody's involved. Everyone in every single operation has a weak spot. You just need to find it and attack, which is what Teddy's afraid of. Teddy knows very well Franklin won't go down without a fight, and he also knows he's going to try and blow up the entire operation. We even see Gustavo being pictured handing some product to Louie, which is something I'm going to come back around to in just a moment. So in season 5, we were introduced to Ruben, where at the beginning, his affiliation was unknown. But later it was revealed that he works with the KGB, and he wants to take down Teddy. Ruben wanted Sissy's help, and because of Alton's death, she had an added incentive, but not at the cost of her only son. He wanted Sissy to book Franklin's place of business, but she refused. She refused to put Franklin in danger. But going into season 6, it seems like Franklin and Ruben may have something in common. They want to bring down the entire operation, along with Teddy McDonald. This goes back to the picture that was taken of Gustavo and Louie. The KGB will definitely be keeping close tabs and collecting as much as evidence as they can. But with Franklin working with Ruben, it also risks bringing down his family, Jerome and Louie. So there is a price, which there always is in this game. We see bodies piling up in the street, and it's something you can't avoid. This game brings death, gang wars, and sometimes you have to sacrifice to save yourself. We hear Sissy questioning Franklin. You think America still cares about you? Has it ever occurred to you that this is what they want? And she's right. They want violence and death on the street. They want to lock as many people up and assert as much as control as possible. So if we were to look out through our history, everything is all about control and manipulation. And if they create a divide amongst those in the street, what happens? They fight among themselves and try and wipe each other out. But what else does that do? It distracts everybody from the real issue at hand. And that's how the CIA were importing and distributing drugs in LA. It's a classic example of using one crime to cover up another. So with that being said, Franklin's back is against the wall. He's going up against Teddy, his family, and the CIA. And can you really win? But what about V herself? Does she see what's happening around Franklin? Can she even be trusted? For example, if Franklin goes down or burns everything down around him, where does that leave V and the baby? It's not just V anymore. She also has to look out for the baby. And does she want him or her to grow up in this world where they constantly look over their shoulders? Or does she want to get out while she can? So just imagine if V walked away and took their baby with her. Where does that leave Franklin? He really would have nothing more to lose, although he still does have Sissy and hopefully Leon. Although I do expect Leon to spend a bit of time in Africa with Wanda. He'll be back in LA and he looks battered and bruised, but he's also taking no prisoners himself. The same goes for Jerome and Louie, as we see them with their backs against the wall in a shootout. So I do think it's worth mentioning, with Franklin fuming at Louie's betrayal at the end of season 5, we saw Franklin approach Kane in the hospital and leak some pretty crucial information.
That was Louie.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Kane's people coming after Louie and Jerome for revenge. So Louie may want to keep her head on a swivel, and so should Jerome. Jerome is a character I really do fear for in season 6 because of Louie's greed and actions, and I really do hope he's a character who can get out while he can. But there are no happy endings, so do you guys see one? It really is difficult to see a happy ending for anyone, but here's hoping Franklin and Jerome can work things out. Although one of the most shocking moments from the trailer was Franklin pulling a gun on Jerome. And at this stage in the series, who hasn't Franklin gone head to head or put a gun to? Franklin's at breaking point, and to put a gun in the direction of Uncle Jerome. You can tell, Franklin's feeling the heat. Although Jerome is a character who would never back down and says do it, but we all know Franklin won't. But the real question is, can they put their differences aside and work together for the greater good? The greater good being coming together and bringing down Teddy and blowing up the CIA's whole operation. So with that being said, that's a breakdown of some of the clues going into the final season of Snowfall. Will Franklin be able to get his empire back, or is he just chasing a lost cause, and will he burn down everything in his path? Drop all your thoughts down below on all things Snowfall Season 6. And of course, if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Snowfall, BMF, and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.